Hello, my name is Mark L. with Alpha Capital Management Group. I'm your 401k advisor for your 401k plan, and today we're going to be talking about your 401k plan enrollment. I'm also joined with us by Ian Campbell. He is also a financial advisor that works alongside with me to be another resource for you to connect with, not only today as we talk about enrollment, but also in the future. We want to make sure that you are comfortable with a couple of contacts in the advisory world that if you ever want to call, get advice and personal consultation regarding your 401k plan, whether it's the understanding of it all or whether it's the investments that you've chosen, that you've got a resource to do so. So you will have our phone and email addresses and are welcome to call us at any time. So again, today we're going to be talking about enrollment. The 401k plan is super important for you to pay attention to, because this is going to give you a great ability to save for retirement. The life expectancy in the United States and in and around the world has come to be known as living 20 years or so post-retirement, say from age 65 to 85. And with those 20 years of living after your paycheck stop and when you want to retire, it's going to require quite a bit of money for you to not run out of money before you pass away. So our goal is to make sure that you're saving enough. And we're going to talk about how much we think you should be saving or try as a goal to be saving in your 401k. So that being said, we want to talk about enrollment. So whether this is your first time you've ever had a 401k benefit, or if you've had other previous employment where you've had 401k and you have some information and are kind of used to it, that's fine. We're going to really stress, again, the importance of saving for your future. You will need different money sources when you retire. Your 401k in particular, roughly in today's world, is about 40% of your drawing pool of money that you'll need in retirement. Of course, you'll have some Social Security, and then the third bucket of money people do rely on in retirement is going to be anything that's in your savings accounts, after-tax accounts that you can draw from in retirement. So again, very, very important. The reason why 401k is so popular is because the money comes right from your payroll check, and it's there and it's saved in your account before it gets to your checking account. And if you're like most people, once money gets into your checking account, we typically find a way to spend it. So this is a way to pay yourself first and to put money aside and start saving before it gets spent. So with enrollment, there's two ways you can go about this. There's a 3-page paper enrollment form that you've been emailed or will be emailed soon that you can fill out and turn in. Most people will do the online enrollment, which is the most preferred way. It allows you to walk through, create a username and a password to retirement plan consultants and go through the enrollment process. So retirement plan consultants is going to be our 401k provider. That's going to be the web portal that you will log into to manage your account. The example in comparison would be no differently than saying United Healthcare is the provider for your medical benefit. So retirement plan consultants is our 401k record keeper. So there are typically going to be 4 questions that you will answer in your enrollment process. The first thing that we're going to do is to make sure that we've got your name and information. That is going to be what's listed at the top. What I'm showing you today is the paper enrollment form. If you were to do the online enrollment, it's going to be the same process, and it will have a progress bar from 0 to 100% when you're done with it all, and there's no way to really mess up, nor would there be on the paper enrollment form either. It's just a matter of, it's easier for me to explain the process so that you've got something to look at here with the paper form. One of the things that we'll get from you, of course, is your Social Security number, since it is a qualified retirement plan, and then notably a date of hire. If the date of hire is something that you can't remember, certainly just reach out to HR, the owner, anybody that can give you that date to fill in that box there. So the first question that you're going to answer is whether you want to elect to contribute into your 401k account at this time, or if it's not the right time and you want to start saving maybe later, you always have open enrollment. Once you've met eligibility, you can always enroll at a later time if today is not a good day to enroll. If you wish not to elect to enroll, the very top box is also needed to be checked with your signature on page 2 so that we have that on file that you've waived your right at this time. Again, you can always participate the next open enrollment period. So the first question is am I in or out? So hopefully the answer is yes to that, and that you will enroll. The next question that you'll want to answer is the how much question. This is going to be the amount that you choose to defer from your paycheck into your 401k account. So your company most likely will have either a safe harbor match or a company discretionary match. And depending on what that is, you're going to want to craft your starting percentage deferral amount based on that amount. If the company is a safe harbor plan, my advice would be to choose 5% of your payroll or anything greater as a starting point. And that's because with the safe harbor match, if you do 5% of your own money, the company match will be 4%. Again, that's if your company has a safe harbor match. If your company has a stated formula for what's called a company discretionary match, then you'll want to know what that formula is so that you can capture to its fullest extent whatever company match is out there so that you don't leave any free money out on the table. And so I can share with you that the national average for all 401k plans in the United States is around 8%. And I simply mention that as a watermark for you to compare with the rest of the public. As a financial advisor, I will share a third number, and that is 10%. 10% is statistically the amount of savings rate that you would need to be at in order for you to accumulate enough money to reach a comfortable retirement so that when you withdraw funds and need them in retirement, that you'll have the best likelihood of achieving that lifestyle that you would like to have in retirement. So again, 5, 8, and 10 are the numbers that I've shared. And keep in mind that today, as a jump-off point for enrollment, don't be so concerned with hitting the exact number because you can always change it in the future. So simply pick an amount that you feel comfortable with today and know that you can change it over time. If you are starting out at a lower number and want to get to that 10%, some good advice would be to raise your percentage either on an anniversary date or calendar year date. Maybe you got a raise or a promotion. Use those trigger points to up your payroll contribution by maybe 1%, maybe 2%, until you get to 10% over the course of the next few years. It would be a good example and some good advice. You can also do a stated dollar amount if you're more comfortable with a specific dollar amount. That can all be set up as well. So that's going to be where you elect in the middle and bottom boxes on the enrollment form, and likewise on the online enrollment application, you'll see the same setup. The third question that we'll talk about today is whether you want to do the pre-tax contribution from your payroll or if you wanted to do and take advantage of the Roth after-tax contribution. And there's basically a significant difference between the two in the way that your money is taxed. The traditional pre-tax method is when money comes from your payroll as untaxed dollars going into your 401k plan. And that money will grow tax deferred. At point of retirement, when you do want to withdraw those monies, that's when Uncle Sam will pay and charge you tax on those deductions, on those withdrawals, that is. So with the Roth feature, it's exactly the opposite. With the Roth feature, you're going to put in after-tax dollars in your 401k plan. It still grows tax deferred the same way. The only difference is when you do make withdrawals from your 401k when you want to retire, none of that money is taxed. It's all yours because you have paid the tax up front. So in either case, Uncle Sam is going to get tax money from you. It's just whether or not you want to pay it up front or pay it when you withdraw. So hopefully that puts some clarity around pre-tax and Roth. Again, you're welcome to change that setting at any time. You can start with one and change to the other. That's perfectly fine and perfectly normal as you go through your working career. Your 401k is portable. Those monies that you set aside are for you and they follow you through your working career, whether you change jobs. It's portable from one company 401k plan to another by simple virtue of a rollover. You can always roll your 401k plan into an IRA and so forth. So again, we're here to help you with those questions if there's a life event that triggers some Q&A for you you to reach out to us. So that covers questions 1, 2, and 3. Am I in or out? How much do I want to save? And the difference between Roth and pre-tax. The fourth and final question is going to be your investments. So whether you do the paper enrollment or the online version, the last step in the process is going to be for the mutual fund selections that you have inside of your 401k plan. Because these are investments, there's no guarantee of earnings. They are, by virtue of investments, go up in value and go down in value. And so that's just going to be relevant based on our market cycles and what sort of investment gains or losses that you may or may not incur. So typically over the course of long-term investing, the average rate of return historically has been around 8%. So in order to average 8% over the course of a lifetime, you're going to see 8s and 10s and 11s and 12s and maybe even plus 20 in some years, but you're also going to experience negative numbers as well. Again, 8% is the average. And so what we would like to do as a financial advisor is to make sure that emotionally you're in check, properly diversified, and meeting the risk tolerance that you individually will have as far as your own investments will go. So what you're seeing on your screen right now is a help guide. It's an investment help guide that we're going to send to you every quarter. If you notice on this particular form, there's a larger top half box and a smaller box that has got some Vanguard target retirement funds in there. Really simply think of this as strategy A or strategy B. The top half is very much more of a hands-on approach. If you notice, there are 5 risk tolerance models from conservative to aggressive, and those are listed there depending on your own personal risk tolerance, your age, your time frame of when you need this money is listed there so that you can pick one of these tolerance models. Some of you are very conservative, others of you might be very aggressive. And there are websites and things where you can help take a little test to find out what sort of investor you are. We've even given one of these tests in the PDFs that we'll send to you so that you can run through some questions to find out where and what risk tolerance you have. And of course, that risk tolerance changes over time as well. So let's say, by example, you want to be a moderate investor, and you were to receive one of these help guides every quarter, and you decide, again, moderate's your choice, then we've given you the investment weightings of all the mutual funds that we would like to see you invested in. Again, it's a guide. You're welcome to pick and choose any of the mutual funds in your 401k plan to your liking. This, again, is just what we see and hopefully want to put you in front of the mutual funds that are performing here and now and through today and in the near-term future. So the ask on your part is when you do receive this investment guide, you would then log into your account with Retirement Plan Consultants, and there's a tab at the top that will allow you to change your investment allocations. And by virtue of that, you would simply rekey in the percentages, which total 100%, and you would hit submit, and then your new mutual funds will be changed at the start of the next day or the next business day. So once a quarter, there's a little bit of an ask on your part to be tactful with the investments in your 401k if you choose to want to follow this guide. For some of you, that might be a little bit too much and you're wanting a less invasive approach. That's where the target date funds will become your strategy B. It's a little bit more appropriate to maybe just pick one fund and let it ride. So the Vanguard target retirement date funds would be your choice if that's the case. And what you would do there is pick the vintage year of which you would reach age 65, which is deemed normal retirement age. So if your year of retiring is going to be, by example, the year 2045, you would simply go 100% in that one sole separate mutual fund. And the way these target dates are designed are fairly aggressive in nature when you're younger because we know that you've got the time and the life cycles to weather through the ups and downs of the market. And the autopilot nature of these target date funds is that they are built on a glide path to become aggressive when you're young and conservative when you get closer to retirement. So it automatically changes the investment allocations in that one exact mutual fund on this glide path to be aggressive when you're younger and more conservative as you get closer to retirement. So if that's your choice, you have those options in your 401k plan. So again, this is sent out once a quarter along with our communication to you, along with a video and a newsletter to keep you in tune with your 401k plan and to make sure that you're being mindful of how your balances are growing and know that they're there and being tended to. So that is the fourth and final question that you will end up mentally answering through this enrollment process. There is a final piece, and that is going to be your beneficiary form. And the beneficiary form is something that you'll fill out to make sure that in the awful event that you pass away, that the money in your 401k account goes to that beneficiary. If you have a spouse, that is going to be your primary beneficiary. That's usually state law. If it's somebody other than a spouse, there is a waiver form at the bottom of the beneficiary page that you will fill out, have that individual sign to make sure that there's an understanding there. What I'm showing you on screen right now is just the web page of the online enrollment process. So I wanted to give you a visual. If you were to choose the online enrollment process, you will see this on the screen. And again, these PDFs and instructions are being mailed to you for your reference. By virtue of this screenshot, you'll see that you're going to set up your own username and password, and you're going to be able to follow through the enrollment process. Once you've done the online enrollment, this is what your dashboard will look like. You're going to see your account balance, and you're going to see, as an example in that top upper left-hand box, an example of what your monthly projected income will be and whether or not you're on track or not. So in this example, there's $357.47 a month that can come out of your 401k plan for that course of 20 years. And for most of us, we already know that that's not going to be enough to live on, even with Social Security and other savings buckets that we're pulling from. So this gives you an idea of whether you should try to increase your contribution rate and grow your balances a little bit quicker. So again, very, very important that you do start saving for retirement, and it's all ever so important. So with all that being said, again, reach out to us personally if you have some questions on your 401k plan. We want to make sure that you're hitting your savings goals. We live in a society where we like immediate gratification, and I think the whole understanding is to make sure that in behind all of this advice and education, you want to make sure and set up some sort of a monthly budget. I think at any earnings rate that you might be receiving through your employer, there's always ways to save. And what it's going to take is a little bit of discipline on your side to make tweaks and checks to your monthly budget to funnel those monies away for retirement. So whether that means one less night a week of going out for dinner, the entertainment's always a big thing. Your pets are sometimes subject to receiving a lot of budget money every month. Children, of course, and their activities. All of these things are something for you to look at that are monies that we spend that potentially could go into your retirement and save for a later date. So with that being said, I want to thank you all for your time, and the next steps to fill out this enrollment, hopefully potentially within the next several days, will allow us to get your payroll file all set up so that your first contributions can start going into your account over the next few weeks. So thank you all for joining us today, and appreciate that, and I hope to speak to many of you in the near future. Thank you.